Hey YouTube, this is Team STD here.
Save the dragons.
Here are the deck profile for Evols.
This is Talon, by the way.
No, that's Bradley. This is Talon.
Oh yeah, I meant your deck.
Alright, anyway, deck profile. Okay. 3 Seratos. Basically, this is like the Laquari of the deck. You get summoned by an Evotile, gains 200 attack, makes it a 21 beater. And if it destroys an opponent's monster by battle, you can add an Evotile to your deck to your hand. 2 Diplo, basically Bastari. Just summon it, pop a spell or trap. Although I guess on the benefit, it's only your opponent's spells and traps, so you don't end up accidentally blowing your own things up. Anyway, then 3 Volcano. This is basically like Darius, special summon an Evol from your graveyard when it gets special summoned by an Evotile. Although the downside is that the special summon monster cannot attack. So, but good for going into rank 4s. Then 1 Pelta. I just have that in here as just like a tech. This gives me extra Evil Swords to be able to special summon. Not to mention it being able to have 2500 defense if summoned by an Evotile is pretty nice. So, anyway, that's all the dinosaurs. Now on to the reptiles. 3 Westlow. Flip, you get a special summon an Evosaur from your deck. Pretty nice. It's got 1900 defense, so not a lot of things can beat over it that are easily summoned. And 3 Najasho. If this card gets tributed, either as a cost for a card effect or to tribute summon a monster, special summon an Evotile from your deck. Evosaur. Really good in combination with the Evil Force, but we'll get to that in a second. Then 1 Evotile Lagasucho. This card is just really great for setting up combos. What happens if it gets normal summoned, you can set an Evosaur from your deck to your graveyard, and then when it gets flipped face up, if you set it, then you can special summon an Evotile from your deck. So you can either set it to get a setup for a Najasho Evil Force play, or if you have a Westlow face down that still hasn't been flipped yet, you can summon this, send a Evosaur from your deck to your grave, flip the Westlow, summon Volcano, and revive what you just sent. And that's all the Evotiles. And then 2 tech cards, which are 2 blasters.
I hate this card.
This is really nice tech in the deck. I gotta say, I don't really focus on graveyard recovery except for the Volcanos, but I usually end up blowing through those really fast. Plus, this helps deal with 2 of the major problems that Evols really have. It's having Evosaurs in your hand that are dead, and not having a very big beating monster. Blaster has 2800, so it puts it well above a lot of other monsters in terms of attack power. And then you can ditch dead Evosaurs in your hand to the grave to destroy a card on the field. So it's just a really good plus.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's all monsters. Onto the spells. 3 Evo Diversity. And this card is basically a 1-turn Rhoda. If you have basically add any Evotile or Evosaur from your deck to your hand at the cost of you can only activate 1 of these per turn. Then 3 Evo Force. Tribute an Evotile to special summon an Evosaur, and then treat it as if it was summoned by the effect of an Evotile. So this is just a really nice card to get rid of Westlows that end up getting stuck on the field, or in combination with Najasho to get 2 Evosaurs out, potentially 3 if you summon a Volcano. Then 1 enemy controller, just nice for switching big beaters into defense mode, since a lot of big beaters don't have a lot of defense. And then also can be used in combination with Najasho to get Najasho's effect off and steal an opponent's monster. And 2 dualities, just extra search. You don't always special summon every turn in this deck, so it's kind of nice just to search out something that you might need later on. And then staples, Dark Hole, Book of Moon, and 2 MSTs. Anyway, onto the traps. 2 Fiendish Chain. I prefer this just because of the fact that unlike Effect Veiler or Breakthrough Skill, it prevents your opponent's monster from attacking. So it's just really nice. Plus, with the amount of traps that I use, the kind of necessary amount of traps that I use in this deck, it's kind of a, how do I say this? Kind of nice just to have this be selected as MST fodder, because you'd rather have this than say your Mirror Force or your Bottomless or your Compulse getting MST'd. So anyway, and 2 Mirror Forces just to mass attack destruction. And then anti-summon, we have Bottomless, Compulse, and Warning. And then my 2 tech cards are 2 Magic Drains. This card is amazing.
This card is like awesome. It's a great card.
It's a counter trap, so spell speed 3. Not a whole lot your opponent can do about it. What this card does is that when your opponent activates a spell card, activate this card, and then it negates the spell card that your opponent just barely activated. But your opponent can discard another spell card to negate this card. While most people see that last part as kind of a problem, I don't, because the way I see it, you're either negating what they wanted to activate right now, or you're getting rid of something that they're going to want to use later. So it's just been a really, really nice card to use.
And I used it in the spellbook matchup, and it was beautiful. Oh,
yeah, it wrecks spellbooks so much.
It has to be timed well, though.
Yes, it does. Anyway, on to the extra deck. 3 Logias. I just have 3 just as the option, although I have gone 3 in a duel multiple times all at once, so it's kind of very scary against my opponent. And then 3 Dolkas. The way that the game's going right now, people are very, very reliant on trying to get their monster effects off, and Dolka just shuts this down, so that's why I use 3 instead of 2. Just in case it's a very effect-heavy deck, then I can use this instead of another Logia, where Logia wouldn't really help me, Dolka does, because it ends up negating 2. Basically, it just ends up negating and stopping up to 2 effects, and it's really nice. Anyway, and then Crazy Box, kind of a tech card just in case I end up going against Skill Drain decks, because Skill Drain does kind of hurt this deck. As much as I like to shut down my opponent from using their card effects, this deck gets hurt really bad from having its own effects get shut down as well. So
mirror match sucks.
So Crazy Box is just kind of one of those things, just to be able, if they're using Skill Drain, it'll be able to attack, and it's a 3,000 beater, and not a whole lot of things can match 3,000 attack power very easily. Anyway, and then Pearl, it's kind of the same thing. It's just more of a beater card in case Logia or Dolka can't cut it at the time, so I need something stronger to be able to beat over. Then to Sigma is a replacement for Shockmaster, since that got banned. But this card is just as good. Yeah, and it's relatively easy, especially if you have Najasho with Evil Force and an Evosaur in the grave. Then you have a setup for use Evil Force on Najasho, summon Volcano summons the guy from the graveyard, and then summon another guy with Najasho's effect, then you have your 3 guys right there. So it's relatively easy to summon. Maybe not always necessary, but it's relatively easy to summon. It's another good card to be able to get over high attack beaters like BLS or Blue Eyes. Anyway, then Utopia, just kind of as a staple, rank 4, just to be able to negate attacks. Photon Pop Imperative. Well, basically just, you already know. Most of you guys already know what this card does. Doesn't really matter. So then 2 Maystroke. I haven't been going into 2 Maystroke a lot of times lately, but back when I was first using this deck, 2 Maystroke was amazing. Just really, really helped me out a lot. So I've kind of kept Maystroke at 2. Especially since, Daigusto Emerald or Lava Ball Chain aren't really a good card in my eyes for this deck. So just fill that extra space with Maystroke. Then Gaga Cowboy, kind of a good card. Just kind of a good card. Don't always go into him. And then wind up Zentmains. Now you could either replace this, I guess, with Acid Golem or that one weird bird I can't remember the name of right now. Or Leviathan Dragon, but I prefer Zen Mains. It's just kind of a defensive, destructive wall. So
And you can actually use them offensively too.
yeah. Anyway, and then on to the side deck. 2 Max Cs for mass special summoning decks. Just most of the time I just end up replacing duality with this. So then 2 Effect Veilers. Again, effect negation. The reason I have this in here is because I have trap negation in my side. So it's a replacement for Fiendish Chain when I need to side that out. And then another enemy controller, just an extra swap out. Another MST, extra spell and trap destruction. 3 Imperial Iron Wall. Kind of obvious with dragons still kind of being a nightmare right now, so Iron Wall just shuts it down. And then 2 Royal Decrees. Like I said, I need trap negation against trap heavy decks. And so this just helps out. And then 2 Trap Stun as a bonus. And then 1 Black Horn of Heaven just in case I need extra anti-summon. This just shuts down Exceed, Synchros, and monsters that generally just end up special summoning themselves, so it's really nice. And then 1 Torrential Tribute, just in case I need another Mass Destruction card, in case my opponent's using a Swarm type deck. So anyway, that's the deck. Comment, rate, subscribe, whatever.
And we will see you guys later.
Yep.